Hey everybody, Becky from Week 99er. So last night was the screening of the new live action Aladdin movie. Now, I'm a huge fan of Aladdin. I'm not going to lie about that. I'm a huge fan of Disney. But I also know going into these things that Disney doesn't always have hits. I wasn't a huge fan of the Nutcracker film when it came out last year. That one was one that actually surprised me how much I didn't like it. But going in to see Aladdin, I was actually really excited about this movie. For me, Aladdin was one of my favorite movies growing up. It came out when I was in 3rd grade. My teacher at the time gave all of us kids a copy of the book for Christmas, which I still have. I loved the sequels, the cartoon that was on the Disney Channel. I absolutely fell in love with the Broadway musical last year. So going into the movie last night, I was really excited. And I know not everybody is about this live action remake. In the past, the live action remakes, generally they've been pretty good. And I haven't hated many of them. But I have to say I really don't like this version of Aladdin. So let's kind of go into it a little bit and I'll explain a little bit. I'm not going to give spoilers away. Granted, if you've seen the cartoon, you've seen the movie. You already know the story. We all know the story of Aladdin and Jasmine and, you know, the genie and all of that. So none of this is a surprise. You will throughout the movie, there are some, there are the iconic lines and the songs by Alan Menken that we all know and love. Those are there. So that's great. There's also brand new songs, and some of them may or may not need to be there. There's actually one, there's a 2-part one that Jasmine has, the part 1 earlier in the film and part 2 later in the film, and the part 2 to me almost seemed out of place, and it almost seemed like it was kind of like her own music video, which seemed really weird in the middle of a movie. Now we know Agrabah is not a real place. It is kind of loosely based on a lot of different places in the Middle East, which Disney took a lot of creative license with this. And I liked the architecture. I liked the fabrics. I liked the texture. There was a lot of Islamic influence, and that's great. There was also a very kind of almost out of place Bollywood dance scene, which seemed a little weird to me. It seemed a little disjointed, and it makes you question a little more, where is Agrabah and does it really fit the film? So, with all that being said, the actors were good in their roles. There were some that I was kind of questioning if this was the right role for them or not, but it's the same story that we've seen in the cartoon version, to the point that scene for scene, some of these scenes were identical. There were some variants, obviously, but I was hoping when they did this one, it would kind of be a blend between the cartoon and the musical. The musical does change some things, and they kind of made it almost the musical, but not really. I had issues with, why even do this if you're gonna not really change it? Like the actor who played Jafar. He was a little menacing, but he wasn't as scary as I'd want to see in a live action one. And yes, I know children are going to watch this movie. So for me, it was almost a little confusing. Like, if you're just going to recreate the same thing, what's the point? Now, as far as the Genie goes, Genie's been up for debate for a lot of people for a long time. For me, I was not concerned about Will Smith being the Genie. He can sing, he can dance, he can do physical comedy, although in the movie it is all CGI. I don't know how much he actually did himself. I don't know how much was done in post, and I'm sure the extras when this movie comes out will show us that. But I really didn't like him as the Genie. And I know nobody can replace Robin Williams, and I went in knowing that. And Robin Williams, if he were still with us, he is the voice of the Genie, but I don't know that he'd be able to physically do the acting side of it in a live action one. And I think that's where Will Smith can and does kind of take this and make it his own. However, a lot of the stuff seemed a little weak for the skills that we know what Will Smith has. I've loved him since Fresh Prince. We have 30 some of his movies on our movie center here. I wasn't hesitant about him playing this role, but it wasn't the best. I think he was an okay genie, and I can't really say beyond that, you know, that I really think he did a lot better than that. So I will say I sat through the movie mostly silent. I did laugh a few times. The music, it's a little updated, but it is primarily the same thing that we're used to. The one hesitation I have with this as a recreation is I know that they're, I guess, readaptation. I know they're redoing Mulan as well, and they're doing that one not as a musical. And I don't know if they're planning on taking that and doing it more as a historical side, or, you know, doing it kind of as the influence, you know, but I'm really kind of concerned of where that one's going to go now, because I was not a huge fan of this one. So if you're going to go see Aladdin when it comes out this week, feel free. You can tell me I'm absolutely wrong, that it was the best thing ever. I'd love to hear that. If somebody really enjoys this movie, that's great. There are people I know that left the theater that loved this movie. For me, it was not, it wasn't what I wanted or expected, and I went in excited for this movie. So if you're going in with hesitations, go in with an open mind. Hopefully, hopefully you will enjoy the movie when you go see it. And if you do, please tell me. Let me know what you think of it, and let me know if this is the movie that you like or not. So that's my honest review of the movie. I'm not giving spoilers away, but like I said, if you've seen the cartoon, you know the story. So I don't really need to spoil it for you. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Bye.